Hello and Merry Christmas, because it is the 25th of December. I'm about to open my present from Mrs. Construction Toy Dude. I already know what's inside because she asked me whether I wanted one before she bought it. But now let's have a look for the camera. And yes, it is wrapped up even though I know what it is because it's Christmas and I like to see parcels underneath the tree. And it is, turn the box the right way up, a Super Nintendo Entertainment System Nintendo Classic Mini. This is a miniature version of the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, tongue-tied there. It comes with 21 games preloaded, some really good titles including Super Mario World and my personal favourite, Super Mario Kart. Okay, let's open the box and see what's inside. Oh dear, it's just pieces of wrapping and cardboard. That's very disappointing. I think Mrs. Construction Toy Dude should take this back and get a refund. And these, dropping everything, we have the controller, which is, well, it's a Super Nintendo controller. If you've seen one of these before, you will know what it looks like. If you haven't, that is what it looks like. We get two of those. I'm assuming anyway. Yep. Two of those. And they attach onto the console like that. We have an HDMI cable to attach the console to the television. We have a USB cable, and I think that is for power. And last but not least, the console itself. Of course, it is a lot smaller than the actual Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or Super Famicom as it was called in Japan. There's a wee slot here which is to represent where the game cartridges went. Of course, that's just a dummy for aesthetic reasons. On the front we have the ports where the controllers go in. On the back we have the HDMI out cable port and the USB power in. On the top there are the power switch. On the left, on the right, we have the reset button. In the middle is a dummy eject button, which is what you would press to get the cartridge out if it was an actual Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, it's very light, and presumably there's not very much hardware inside it. Anyway, the most important bit, let's get it hooked up to the television. I'm sorry about the poor level of lighting. I'm having to film this in the living room because that's where the TV is and the lighting isn't very good. So I will keep this section as brief as possible. We have to connect the actual unit up to the TV via the HDMI cable. I'm going to have to unplug the PlayStation 4 to do that. We also need to plug the unit into the mains. For that we need a USB power adapter. Unfortunately, one isn't included in the box, but I have a couple to spare around the house, and most people probably do because so many things use them these days. And that, of course, you just plug in the USB cable here, and then plug the other end into the back of the mini SNES. The front panel here comes out like that, and you have the two controller ports on two. So let's get this hooked up and we shall have a look at what it's like when it's running. And this is the screen which greets you when you start up the machine. You can scroll through the games, very simple thumbnail selection. Up at the top we have the options, nothing too exciting there, and we also have the display options. If we choose that, and we can choose from 4:3 aspect ratio, pixel perfect, or CRT filter, which is meant to make it look like you're playing this on an old-fashioned TV, which of course the SNES would have been hooked up to rather than a flat screen. Right, I'm going to stick by the 4:3, and let's see, what should we play? Super Mario World, yes, that's a good one. Oh, brilliant, a star. That gives us invincibility, which is very useful when you're in a stage like this. Oh, and the invincibility's worn off. It's a shame. And we exit that stage. One really useful feature of this machine is if at any point you want to save your progress, all you have to do is hit the reset button. This takes you back to the main menu, and you will see down at the bottom left hand corner of the screen is a floating square with wings on the corner. And press the down button. This brings up the suspend point list, and this allows you to create up to 4 different suspend points from up to 4 different games. And if you see there, press Y. There we are, that's it saved. And now if I want to go off and play another game, I can. And I fancy coming back and playing Super Mario World again. Bring up the suspend point list, select, and there we are, back to where I left off. No progress lost and no items lost. Now, people who are good with computers and programming will probably have an emulator on either their computer or another device which they can play games from many old consoles on. I'm not very good with computers beyond the basics of how to use them, which means I will leave the emulators for people who are cleverer than myself. So if you like old games and you don't really know how to use emulators or can't be bothered with them or don't really want to play hacked ROMs, you pick this console up, you will not be disappointed. Now, Nintendo, I don't know, they're being very sneaky with the supply of the SNES. They did make a mini NES last year, and they were... the prices on eBay are now ridiculous. You can pay about £500 for one of the mini NESs, and this is because Nintendo did not release very many units onto the market, and demand vastly outstripped supply. Whether this was deliberate or an oversight on Nintendo's part, I don't know. But it means that when the SNES came out, there was again massive demand. I think they've produced more units for this. We were actually quite lucky to get this one. Mrs. Construction Toy Dude pre-ordered it from Game, and they just called it at the right time when they got more in stock. Anyway, I'll carry on playing this. I will let you go and enjoy the rest of what you're doing. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again when I can with another Construction Toy Dude video. Ah, I'm dead!